Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning, and I'm the master taster of Whisky.com. And today, no, we're not talking about whiskey, no, and we're not sipping whiskey. We're talking about whiskey liqueurs. And I have a small assortment here on my cask. And I beg your pardon, it's not whiskey. And one of those whiskey liqueurs is no whiskey liqueur, it's just a liqueur. We will come to this a little later. And at first we have to say, what is a whiskey liqueur? Liqueur and liquor are two different words. Liquor means just alcohol. Liqueur means a mixture of alcohol and something sweet. And there is an alcoholic beverage is called infusion. Infusion is if you put fruits into a whiskey, not only fruits, but most often it's fruits, in an alcoholic beverage, and the alcohol tears out the juice, the fruit juice, and the fruits are becoming dry, and after a year or two, my father used to go into the gardens and picking fruits and putting those fruits into huge gallons of glass, adding pure alcohol, and after a year or two, he removed the liquid and filtered it through a linen, and then this was an individually made infusion. He added water until he had the preferred ABV, and this was a real infusion. So today we talk about liqueurs, in particular about whiskey liqueurs, and this is a mixture of whiskey with something sweet, and, well, that depends on the liqueur. What's the sweet in those liqueurs? And you would say typically, let's take sugar, cane sugar. But this is slow in solution. It takes quite a time, and you have to heat it up to bring the sugar quite fast into solution. This is an awful lot of work and energy. So you typically take glycose. This is a monosaccharin, and it's sweet and it's liquid and it's easy to mix. And this is typically what you find in most of these sweet liqueurs. Well, there is the natural side of sweetness. Since the Stone Age, it's honey. And there are several honey liqueurs in between these bottles, and I prefer the honey liqueurs against the typically glycose liqueurs. Well, it's more natural. But there are bees which are fed by sugar water, and then there is less aroma in the honey. Depends, yes. And there are parts of the world where you're able to, or allowed to, sweeten your liquids with glycol. Yes, this is the cooler liquid you use in cars in the winter, that the water, the cooling water, doesn't freeze. And this glycol, yes, if it's in high quality for human consumption, no problem with that. It just digests as any normal sugar to aldehydes and ketones, whatever. So it's not that bad. There had been a huge scandal in Austria in the 70s, 80s, 70s, I think, late 70s. There people had sweetened the wine with glycol. Ooh, the Austrian wine never catched up against that scandal. Well, there's also a whiskey liqueur here, the Fireball. There were tales that they this bottle also contains glycol, but only for several markets where it's allowed. The European community, where this bottle is from, does not allow to have glycol in any liquid, just in cooling liquid for the radiators of combustion engines. Yeah. But you have to look up in Google, find out what they said. I will not take any side, no, not me. Now you have whiskey and something sweet, and what else? Well, you typically add herbs, spices. And there's a receipt which is 1,000 years old or even older. And it's secret and given from grandfather to father and so on. Really? Probably not. Most of those bottles are produced in an industrial amount, so 100,000, even millions of bottles. And there is a working line, a production facility where the ingredients are all there. They have to be there. Well, everybody has to sign a contract not telling about that, even after termination of the job. So it's quite safe, but not that safe as you think. And there's also a tail. The Coke recipe is also very secret. No, not really. Look up in the internet. Google is your friend. You will find everything what's in Coca-Cola. Some liqueurs have added aromas. Like I've seen a container of banana aroma at the Wild Turkey distillery, but that is tens of years away. I don't know what they're doing today. Probably not. And I do not know whether these banana aroma was artificial or natural. No idea. So there are several things in those liqueurs which bring an interesting and love taste to the people. You can't produce those liqueurs on the typical bottling lines of the whiskey industry. No way. The sugar in those bottles is so extreme, and this sticks in the machines, in the filling lines. So nobody wants to spoil its bottling line by a few thousand, 10,000, a few 100,000 bottles. No, nobody wants to. So there are special companies doing this. I think the Irish Mist is one of the most famous. They have an own line, or the Jim Beam honey. This one will also have a special bottling line. Drambuie, of course, Bailey's, most often sold. Cream liqueur. And this is the next sort of whiskey liqueurs, the cream liqueurs. There you added 2 whiskey, 2 herbs, 2 sweeteners. You add cream, dairy cream, and this makes those bottles, they have a best before use date on it, and if you open the bottle, put them in the fridge, definitely they will stay there good for a month, maximum of 2, I think. Afterwards they will clot, I think. Well, that's it. This is a German Bavarian liqueur with herbs, alpine herbs. I don't think so. I don't think that this bottle is available outside Europe or outside Germany. It's a small small amount of bottles. Then we have the Jim Beam honey. It's of course from the US, but there's no Kentucky Straight bourbon in it. No, it's bourbon in it. Be careful. So this will be quite young whiskey, 2 years and a day. This is Jugendjack. This is no whiskey liqueur. I think in former times this had been whiskey liqueur, but now it's just alcohol with the special ingredients. The specialty in this bottle is 50% ABV. Wow, what a thing. This is the Gleiber. I'm used to that one since 1990 or 1991. And this changed a lot. So they had glycose in it for sweetening, and they changed over to honey. Wonderful. In former time, this one was also very light in color. It darkened a lot, and I don't know if it's artificially colored or not. Then we have this is a Scottish one. Then we have the Irish mist, and if you hand this bottle, there might be some mist in your head, at least a strong headache. Then the Fireball. It's a Canadian whiskey liqueur, spiced with cinnamon and chili, pepper, something like that, and well, very intense. And then we have those two cream liqueurs, the Arran, which has single malt whiskey in it, has the Slurs Alpine herbs, and the Eredau, which also has single malt whiskey in it, and those are from two smaller distilleries, so these are not with those big number of cases per year, so they are smaller ones, and they are, from my point of view, probably higher quality than those million sellers in the best. Thank you for watching. This was the introduction into Whisky Liqueurs, and in the next days I'm drinking through all these liqueurs you're seeing here, and this is hard labor. This is duty I have to pay. Why? I do not like the liqueurs very much. I like single malt whiskey, I like Kentucky Straight bourbon, I like Canadian whiskey, I like Irish whiskey, and liqueur. Some of them are really good. I tasted them already, but in a whole, liqueur is not mine, as I said in the beginning. So be careful to what I'm tasting here. It might not be the essence of a real liqueur lover. No, probably the contrary of this. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, there's more to come. And feel free to share this video with your friends, and especially with the sweet friends you have.